The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and are not those of WKYU-TV, its management, or WKU.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, TopperTalk is back at you, large in the margin, for the next 30 minutes, talking some Hilltopper sports. The last couple of shows, it's been me and Shane holding it down, and well, we have the triumphant return of Woody White here.
Glorious return back this week.
Welcome back, my man.
Thanks, man. Been a long summer. Glad to be back here.
Yeah, been a busy guy, so he's back on the show, and like I said, we're back on our weekly rotation, so you can catch us every Monday at the same TopperTalk time, same TopperTalk channel. Right. So we're just coming off the 4th of July weekend, so you got any cool 4th of July weekend stories, Woody?
Got to spend the week down at Kentucky Lake with the church youth group that I work with, so I've been down there at camp.
Cool, and you said you didn't get rained on.
It rained a little bit on Monday. Apparently it flooded on everybody back here, but yeah, we stayed pretty dry.
Cool, yeah. I seen you saw a lot of fireworks.
We did. Everybody around the lake shooting off fireworks.
Good,
it was pretty cool.
I didn't have to go get any because I saw plenty around the neighborhood, but, went out to my girlfriend's house on 4th of July, or her parents' house, and people were shooting them off around the neighborhood there, so then went and watched 311 at Cypress Hill at Cincinnati. So, yeah, Cypress Hill put on a pretty decent show, rapping about legal things. And
that's right.
But, 311's one of my favorite bands. I always go watch them every year. They always go up there to the River Bend and rock it out. So I went up there and checked them out,
Good
too.
Stuff.
Just kind of chilled out over the weekend, went and visited Mom and Dad. So
that's
pretty nice, relaxed, chill, exciting 4th of July extended weekend for me. So.
Definitely.
So you haven't been here in a while because you've been busy, and we've been on an every other week rotation.
Right.
Until last week. So we'll kind of hop right into this. I know you got some basketball stuff, but I definitely want to get your opinions on a lot of things. Kind of start off like we started off last week talking about Michael Dyer. The potential of him coming to Western Kentucky and playing football. Still out there, I guess, a little bit. We kind of mentioned it last week. It kind of came up. But there's a new USA Today article that was released on Sunday. It was about George Schroeder. Kind of profiles, goes a little bit more in depth about the Michael Dyer situation. Kind of talks about the Arkansas Baptist president, which, of course, if you're not familiar, Dyer spent the last year at Arkansas Baptist College, just pretty much focusing on his grades. No football because he got kicked off Arkansas State. So, and of course, the former Auburn running back, won a national title while he was there, but obviously got kicked off Auburn because of drug charges and gun trouble, and another gun issue at Arkansas State. Got pulled over, had a gun, so got kicked off the team there. Ended up at Arkansas Baptist. Kind of got his grades in order, and now he's looking to actually return to college football, and kind of goes in depth, how he's, during the past year, he's focused on his grades in school, and he's also enrolled in a mentor program, too, and he's been taking some sessions and, talking to the right people and kind of getting his life in order and everything like that. One of the interesting things in the article, though, is, like he said, wherever he ends up, all he wants to do is go to class and play football. And obviously he's available to play immediately wherever he goes. But kind of an interesting fact, I know Western's kind of popped up on the radar, and Western's actually mentioned in the USA Today article as well that Marshall, Troy, and Western Kentucky has been in contact with him. But one of the interesting quotes from the article is that he said he would like to play on a higher level than Marshall, Troy, or Western Kentucky. It kind of goes into the fact that he would like to walk on at Arkansas or a like-minded program. But that might be an issue for Dyer because of his past. Whenever the issue came up with Dyer that he was going to be available, TCU and Louisville were interested at first, and they kind of backed off just because of the baggage and everything like that. So it's kind of an article out there. He's kind of proven himself that he's a changed man. He spent, the last year focusing on what he needed to focus on to kind of turn his life around, and now he wants a second chance. And so it's kind of interesting to get people's opinion on, what do you think? Does he deserve a second chance, and would you welcome him with open arms at Western Kentucky if he came here?
Man, it's a tough line to walk because you hate to be that school that brings in those type of players, but at the same time, you get a kid with the talent on Michael Dyer. I mean, that's a tough situation to address. If he's truly focused on getting his life in order and coming to class and playing football, and that's all he wants to do. I trust our coaching staff to be able to assess the need there and assess whether he's serious about it. Obviously, our need at running back isn't huge.
Yeah.
We have a pretty good one. Antonio is kind of going to be running things.
We got pretty good ones too to back him up.
Yeah. But man, I think if you can get a kid with that talent that can come, and if he's going to, whether it's a scholarship or walk on, if you can get him to come and find ways to get him on the field, and if he's really focused on, bettering himself, then I wouldn't have a big problem with it. I think he'd be focused and want to. I mean, obviously he wants to get to the NFL, so he's going to be focused on proving to them that he's doing the right things to get there. So, I mean, I'd be surprised if it happened, but I mean, I wouldn't necessarily complain if it did.
Yeah, I got you. And that's another thing that an older article mentioned he can actually go into the supplemental draft, NFL supplemental draft, but I think he's wanting to come back to college and kind of prove himself again on the college level. A lot of people, and they have various opinions about this. Of course, with the article coming out on Sunday, he kind of brushes off the fact of coming to, programs like Western, Troy, Marshall, who are not on the BCS level, and said he would actually prefer to walk on just as long as he got a chance. But obviously wants to kind of get back to that BCS level, it kind of seems like. So it's going to kind of rub some of the Hilltopper fans the wrong way because, like, oh, you don't want to come here. But just like you said, we don't really necessarily need him.
Right.
But if he did come, that would be a heck of a two-man punch in the backfield.
There wouldn't be too many in the country better than that.
Not that we already have a three-headed monster, but I guess it would turn into four-headed monsters then.
That's a lot of running backs.
But, it's not really necessarily a need, and I'm kind of like you. I don't really foresee it really happening. I mean, it could, obviously, if a team's going to give him a chance, and it looks like, Marshall, Troy, and Western's going to be his options as far as just coming on here to be on a scholarship. But, I really don't think it's... We'll see if a BCS program's going to allow him to walk on. That's going to be the issue right there. Because, like I said, TCU and Louisville's already kind of backed off. And kind of in the article as well, it kind of talks about how somebody on the inside of Arkansas's program doesn't think a walk-on thing's going to happen too, just because of the baggage. So, be interesting to see where Michael Dyer does end up. Like I said, I'm all for giving him a second chance. Like I said, he's kind of proved himself in the past year, got his grades up where he needed to be, and kind of got rid of all the problems in the past. So, I wouldn't have any qualms if. He ended up here at Western Kentucky as long as he came and balled out and did what he had to do to help us win and
for sure.
Kept his nose clean. I'm all for it, and you got to give kids like that a second chance, because they're young, they're going to a different environment and they hang around wrong people, and he was obviously hanging around the wrong people at Auburn because the people kind of used his gun to do some theft. So, but. Be interesting to see how that scenario kind of plays out with Dyer, and definitely be something interesting for Hilltopper football fans to look into. So just want to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, even if he does go to Troy too, I mean, we'll see him there. So
yeah.
Either way, it could end up affecting us.
Yeah, but. So I mean, he could come here and help us, or he can go to Troy, and we'll be facing him. But kind of an interesting quote from the article, just kind of last points here. Kind of is quoted as saying, the name Michael Dyer, when people bring it up, it's not good. He said, I want to change that, and I have opportunity to. I came here to Arkansas Baptist to do what I was supposed to do: go to school, get my grades right, get myself together, and I'll admit to being wrong. I'll admit to making mistakes. I'm willing to go through the process of fixing them. I want to go back to college and do it again the way I'm supposed to. So, I mean, I think he's pretty sincere in what he's trying to say. So, just kind of an interesting nugget to that news is kind of coming out, and it's kind of snowballing now.
Yeah.
We get more in-depth stuff, and we'll see where he ends up. Obviously, like I said, he wants to come the college way, and we'll see where he ends up. Hopefully with us or Troy. Maybe Marshall.
Well,
we won't have to worry about him.
I mean, I think schools on our, I guess, sort of level where we're at. Not to put us on that lower level, but schools that are trying to come up in the world.
Non-BCS.
There you go, the non-BCS range.
Until the BCS will be done with after this year.
Right. I think taking a chance on players like that is good for schools like us.
Yeah.
I mean, if they are sincere about trying to better themselves and be the players they can be, that's how you can kind of make a splash and get a talented player that you otherwise couldn't get like just normally recruiting them. So
yeah.
So I will see what happens. Either way, I'm still perfectly okay with the running backs that we've got.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, if you can add a national championship caliber running back, then
I think it would be different if it was a defensive lineman, though, for sure. But I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Even though I think we'll be all right then, but I mean, obviously that's kind of a position of need. Running back, not so much for Western, so I think we're pretty good there. But kind of moving on, it's college football is just around the corner, so we got more preseason watch lists and just
Everybody
lists in
loves
general,
lists,
man.
for
I
sure.
mean, that's all they do preseason. Man, here's my list: top 10 college football coaches. Sports Illustrated came out with it, and Bobby Petrino's number 9 on the list. So pretty good pub for Western Kentucky.
It's still wild for me to see Western Kentucky football on that level. I mean, I was thinking earlier today just about where we came from back when I was a kid coming to games up here, and now I'm seeing Petrino our coach is a top 10 coach in the country. That's just wild.
Yeah. So pretty cool to see. Like I said, kind of interesting to see Western Kentucky in the top 10 list when it
you
comes
look
to
at
head coaches and
the
everything.
other schools that he's listed with. You've got Oklahoma, A&M, LSU,
big time BCS
Kansas
programs.
State. Yeah, I mean, it's Alabama.
But yeah, I mean, definitely, and that just kind of goes kudos to Todd Stewart for the hire, and giving Bobby Petrino a second chance, to coach. So good way to come here. And like I said, we mentioned it before on the show. Contract is stellar. We pretty much get him virtually free the first 2 years. So
there was another guy down at this camp last week that I was trying to explain the contract to, and he was like, "That is genius! Like, how do you even come up with something like that?" I was like, "Man."
A lot of people forget to factor the Taggart buyout.
Yeah,
That.
the Taggart buyout was pretty clutch.
When you factor in the Taggart buyout, it's pretty stellar contract. So. Also, some news today, Antonio Andrews named to the Maxwell Award watch list.
That's big time.
Some watch lists coming out, man. That goes to the College Player of the Year. And, of course, that's given out on the big ESPN College Football Awards stuff. So, also Andrew Jackson named to the Bednarik Award watch list, which goes to the Best Defensive Player of the Year. So, semifinalists for both of those awards are announced on October 29th, and the 3 finalists for each will be announced on November 25th, and then the winners will be announced December 12th during the College Football Award shows. So, I mean, you've kind of been seeing this, throughout the college preseason. You get Antonio Andrews on a list, Andrew Jackson's on a list.
I think, as the season goes on and they narrow it down even further, I think you'll see those guys in the mix because they're getting that name recognition out there. Every time you see Mel Kiper talking about linebackers or something like that, you always see Andrew's name listed. And,
Count Mel Kiper.
Yeah, count. But I think that's obviously publicity's kind of half the battle as far as those awards go. To me, obviously on the field production's huge, but
it's one of those things where, I mean, you take into consideration the monster season Antonio Andrews had last year, and I mean, he probably wouldn't have won the Heisman even if he won, broke Barry Sanders' record. I think he would have to rush for like 4,000 yards to get the Heisman, and we'd have to go to a BCS game. It's kind of one of those that normally goes to a player in a BCS program.
Right.
Unless you make a whole lot of noise for a program like Western. So, which we do have that potential this year. But
I think so.
Like I said, a lot of these preseason lists, you see either Antonio Andrews or Andrew Jackson on there, and obviously those are the two players with the most NFL potential on our team. Because you got Andrew Jackson, he's listed as either the number 1 or number 2 inside linebacker for the NFL draft next year, and Antonio Andrews is also up there in the top 10 in running backs for the NFL draft next year. So we're going to have some draftable guys, and then you got to take into consideration, Jonathan Dowling as well. He's going into his junior season, and obviously he might end up on these lists by the time the season's over.
Yeah, I think I'm looking for a big year from him. I'm excited to see.
It's kind of one of those. He's still kind of under the radar.
I think he's still really learning how good he is, honestly.
Yeah.
And if he can, once it all clicks for him, that's going to be scary for sure.
Yeah, and also, just to go along with the Andrews stuff, also named to the Paul Hornung Award watch list, which goes to the most versatile player. That's handed out by the Louisville Sports Commission. Yeah. And would you quite honestly say that Antonio Andrews was the most versatile player last year?
With everything he did for us, he'd have to be up there for sure.
But, that goes out to the most versatile players. So he was actually one of the finalists. Cool thing about this award, Hilltoppers have been on the watch list for the past 4 years. Andrews the last 2, and then Bobby Rainey the previous 2 years. So Hilltoppers are ruling that list. We need to actually have somebody win it, but they probably go to some guy on the BCS team or something.
That's crazy.
We need to go to a BCS bowl, and Andrews needs to break Barry Sanders' all-purpose yards record.
I like it. That'll be a successful season.
I think that's what he has to do to win some awards. So, but yeah, I mean, moving on. Like I said, more lists. Phil Steele, he kind of came up with his All-American honors once again. I
always enjoy reading his stuff. He's pretty on top of it.
He's pretty in depth. I mean, you gotta admit Phil's really in depth when it comes to college football, and I mean. Sure. He comes out with the magazine and everything, but he also has a blog on his website, and all that stuff comes out. And I mean, it's amazing. He's kind of like a math wizard too. Yeah. He has like these obscure lists of his equations.
The nerdy side in me.
Yeah,
enjoys all that.
You enjoy that, right?
I do. I'm a numbers man, definitely.
But also, Andrews and Jackson named on the All-American honors list by Phil Steele as well. Andrews was selected as a third-team all-purpose player, and Jackson was actually listed on the fourth-team All-American team as of course as a linebacker. And got some more lists here from Phil, because Phil likes to break stuff down.
He's always making some lists.
So I got to, put more paper and have more room on here. But actually ranked position-wise in the top 40, Western Kentucky has 5 players that he actually put in the top 40 as far as ranking their position. Starting off with first, Jonathan Dowling. He's got him ranked as the number 13 free safety in the nation. Next up, we got Sean Conway, number 17 center in the nation. And next up, we got Keontae Young. He's the number 40 strong safety.
I love Keontae Young.
Keontae Young, yeah. I always liked Keontae ever since he stepped on campus. He's a hard hitter and definitely has a lot of energy out there, too. Also, of course, you got the usual suspects. You got Andrew Jackson. Phil still rated him as the number 2 inside linebacker. And then you also have Antonio Andrews, who's actually rated in 3 different positions. He's the most versatile player, man. He needs to win that award. But he's rated as the number 18 punt returner, the number 9 kick returner, and the number 12 running back in the nation. So
it is definitely versatile.
What do you think about those lists? You think those are those justified? Or
I would say they are. All of those players.
Do you think anybody needs to be higher?
I would love to see Sean Conway higher, but I can't say that I know much about other centers in the country.
You're not versatile in the offensive lineman.
Center knowledge.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I think Dowling will probably move up the list as the season goes on.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a long snapper list either. So I don't know. You're more knowledgeable than the long snapper, right?
I don't know how you compare long snappers. Snaps completed, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty cool. Like I said, it feels really knowledgeable on things like that, and you get these lists and these watch lists and All-American lists come out, and of course they're preseason. Really, the thing that matters the most is when you're named on there at the end of the season. Kind of the accumulation of the season and how you did. So that's why but it's good. It's really good to see Western getting the pub that we're getting from Andrews and Jackson and a host of others too. It kind of shows you what a talented program we have, and then we got it kind of shows you what Coach Taggart and his coaching staff did while they were here. In their time here, getting the athletes here, and having a really good team for Petrino to just kind of come in and do his thing. So
I think a guy that probably won't get much preseason recognition, but by the end of the year, I think will be up there is Mitchell Henry.
Oh yeah,
Man, Mitchell's game is impressive to me, and I think he fits perfect into what Petrino wants to do. And I'm looking for him to have some pretty good numbers this season. Obviously, playing behind Jack Doyle or next to Jack Doyle, I guess. He
on the other side.
On the other side, yeah. He didn't quite have. He wasn't the focus of all the receptions for the tight end position last year, but this year, obviously, there's still other guys in the tight end position too. But man, I think Mitchell's going to have a great year.
Well, you kind of bring that up, and you talk about tight ends. I think that's another position we don't need to worry about.
Right.
We got Mitchell Henry. Also you got Tyler Higbee, who I think he had a phenomenal spring.
Definitely.
And I think he's going to be. They're going to be a good 1-2 punch at the tight end position. Mm-hmm. And another player that's kind of out there that we don't talk about because we didn't really pass the ball to receivers a whole lot. It's Willie McNeil.
Yeah.
Willie McNeil's. Could you say in this Petrino offense he's probably destined to have maybe the best season as a receiver ever in Western Kentucky history?
I would say there's a very good chance. You look at Petrino's Louisville teams, and I think McNeil reminds me a lot of Harry Douglas from those teams. That kind of that slot guy that's quick and can turn short receptions into long receptions.
Yeah.
And with his open field moves, and I think Willie's gonna have a fun year. I think it's gonna be pretty entertaining to watch, and he's gonna make a lot of plays for us.
Yeah, that's another. Like I said, receiver is probably still. It was our most underutilized position under Taggart.
Right.
But it's good to have somebody like Willie there. He's got the talent. He showed that during spring ball. In Petrino's system, he can make all the catches and everything. You just got to have those other receivers step up so he doesn't get double teamed all the time. But it's like I said, you're going back to Mitchell Henry and the tight end position. That's going to be another great utilized position as well. And then of course you always got the Andrews and
just got to figure out who's throwing the ball to him.
Exactly, just got to figure that out. But it looks like it's going to be Daddy right now. But we'll see whenever fall camp starts. You never know when
it's going to be fun to watch.
One of the new faces might pop up and make a name for themselves, and Nelson Fishback or Todd Porter. But we'll see. Right now, Daddy's looking pretty solid right now, though.
I'm comfortable with him for sure. Obviously, not knowing much about Fishback or Porter yet, but I've heard the coaches speak pretty highly about Porter.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be in good hands. It's just a matter of getting any of those guys just game reps and just getting used to it. So.
Yeah, and I think you kind of look at the new quarterback position and who's going to step in and be the starter. You have a whole new offensive system to learn, which Daddy just did a magnificent job during the spring of just grasping it. You can tell he really kind of grasped that second opportunity that he got. Learning a new system and just really diving into the playbook, learning all the plays. He was definitely the most comfortable. But you got two formidable opponents right off the bat in Kentucky and Tennessee. You could say both coming off down years or whatever, but it's still SEC opponents.
Still, right.
And still Kentucky, we beat them last year, but it was a tough game. We had to go into overtime and beat them on the little Seminole trickeration play. But it's going to be a tough task coming out the gate. But like I said, I think a lot of Hilltopper fans. I mean, you kind of go back. We mentioned Petrino's number 9 coach on the top 10 list.
Yeah.
He's probably going to have him ready.
I think so.
And you got to think that we're going up against Mark Stoops, who's never been a head coach. Mm-hmm. And while I think Kentucky program's turning around for the better, you got to think you got to still get that head coaching experience to Petrino.
Fix there, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to think Petrino's going to have these kids ready, and whoever the quarterback is, I think they'll be pretty comfortable when that time rolls around. So definitely. So we want to remind everybody as well that July 18th is going to be the Big Red Rally and Reveal. And it's going to be, of course, we're going to be revealing the new football uniforms. We got those chrome domes, so we got to have some uniforms to go with them, man.
I'm excited to see what all they're going to look like.
Yeah, what's your impression of what they're going to look like?
Man,
we got chrome domes, so what would go better with chrome domes? Do you like the chrome helmets?
I'm not a huge fan of the chrome, honestly. I think they'll look cool once they get on the uniforms.
Is it a little too much? Is it like a Kardashian at NBA game?
That's a good analogy for sure.
Or the rap concert?
I'm a little bit more of an old school kind of dude, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that might not be the word, but I love the uniforms we've had the last couple of years. So if we're trying to modernize it, I'm cool with that. I'm sure they'll still look good, and I'm sure the players are going to like them. But the chrome's going to be interesting. I'm anxious to see how it'll tie into everything we've got.
I'm like you on the chrome helmets. I mean, I think they look kind of cool, but obviously I kind of think that we need another helmet too to wear,
not just chrome
kind of all the time. Maybe put out the chrome domes every once in a while, But as far as the uniforms go, I do like the ones we had the last couple of years. I want to see some gray uniforms.
I do like the gray.
I like the grays in the bowl game, so I want to keep a gray theme going. Don't really care too much for black, but it just depends, man. I mean, black and red kind of go together pretty good. I mean, if they do it eloquently, I'll like it, but we'll see. I didn't really like the old black uniforms they wore back in the day. I thought those were kind of bad. So, but yeah, the Big Red Rally and Reveal is going to be July 18th. It's going to be at the Greenwood Mall at 6 p.m. at the JCPenney Court. And Bobby Petrino and a lot of assistant coaches will be there, and special guests too. And they will actually sign autographs from 6:30 to 7:30, and then they'll have a Q&A session afterwards, if I can talk right, from 7:30 to 8. So we'll see what those new unis look like. And if you got any opinions on what you want the new unis to look like, you can always holler at us on Twitter at TopperTalk TV. Give us some input, what you think you want to look like. Do you like the old unis that we had last year? Do you want to see them change? Let us know your opinion. We might actually read it on the air.
We might.
And we'll give a shout out to Shelby Worthington, who says she is catching the end of Topper Talk TV tonight. And
good faithful viewer.
Hashtag go top. Go top. So shout out to Shelby. And so moving on, Woody, we're kind of going into your kind of line of expertise here. Right. Let's go updated basketball rosters.
Yeah,
we kind of noticed that today on Twitter. That
we saw the heights and the weights.
Yeah, the heights and the weights. What do you think about these heights and weights, man? Are these accurate? Are these basketball heights and weights where they add 2 or 3 inches?
It's funny how back in my days of posting on Haven a lot, I don't really get to do that much anymore. But I always try to compare them to how tall I was.
This ain't a confession show.
No, not a confession. I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'8", but I always try to compare that to where I was. So I try to look players in the eye and judge them where they're off that. But people always thought I was wrong on there. So
okay.
I don't know. I haven't got to see any of the guys in person yet.
It depends on your posture, too.
Yeah, I can
stand up straight. I mean, that's an inch right there.
I think seeing Dauda at 6'9", I think if that's accurate, then that'll be good.
Okay.
I did see. I guess.
You think they put Chris Harrison Docks on stilts or
he
something?
he may have been on a couple phone books or something like that. I don't know if 6 foot's quite that accurate for him. But you can't put a guy under 6 foot. I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's illegal unless it's Muggsy Bogues and it's just quite obvious.
Unless it's a gimmick. Yeah, you got to put him at 6 foot. But man, I'm just really excited to get to watch these guys on the floor. We're a little over 3 months away from Hilltopper area, so that's definitely exciting.
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of, going back, I know we said it on the show many times, so Hilltopper fans are really excited about this season just of, you say it, but the people that left as compared to the people that we got,
right.
We're going to be mega athletic this year, it seems like.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I think it's going to be a lot of kind of what me and Shane have said on the last couple episodes. Ray Harper's got the athletes he wants on the team, and he can run the offense and run the style of play and the defense he wants to run. And
I'm getting excited just hearing about it.
Going to see maybe some running gun, a lot of high tempo stuff.
I've been telling everybody that if you've ever at all cared about Western in the last few years, have kind of got you down, like with McDonald and everything, and you've kind of been around the program. With
I don't
Harper
think people
back.
remember that.
No, that's in the past. But if you want a year to jump on the big red bandwagon, this is going to be it for basketball. We're gonna.
I think a lot of people agree with you on that.
I think we'll make a lot of noise this year, and it's gonna be a fun ride for sure.
So you're saying we're gonna just mop the Sun Belt competition on our way out?
I think so. Like, I hate to be that arrogant going into a season, but
be as arrogant as you want. It's our show.
It's our show. We do what we want. But man, I
just cuss. All right.
Yeah, I won't do all that.
Okay.
Don't worry.
All right.
But I think like Lafayette may give us a little challenge. Alfred Payton been playing with the U19 national team, doing awesome. I'd love to have him, but he'll give us a few problems.
Don't worry about him, man. We got more athletes.
That's right. Trancey's gonna dunk all over.
That's right.
But I really just don't see that many teams in the Sun Belt that are gonna take us on with the depth that we have. We've got. I see probably 10 or 11 guys that can come in and we don't lose much.
We're going to be pretty deep, too.
We're going to be very deep.
It's going to be a thing, too. And then you got, another factor is, you're going to have 2-3 guys come off that are going to be eligible in December. Just all of a sudden, hey, we're eligible now. We're going to start playing. That's another thing for coaches to consider once, you kind of get into that late non-conference schedule and into the conference schedule. So, definitely got a lot of athletes. We're loaded. Hilltopper fans are definitely excited. So it's like you said, Hilltopper Hysteria can't get here soon enough for all the basketball fans out there. So we don't have a lot of time left. So you want to give us a little summer league updates for A.J. Slaughter and Jeremy Evans?
Got two former Hilltoppers in the summer league. Jeremy Evans got the start for Utah yesterday. Had 6 points and 5 rebounds. 26 minutes. We were talking with Shane earlier today. Obviously couldn't be here. But we talked about it. He. We think Jeremy may get a little bit more look at some minutes this year. They've had a couple front court guys that have left Utah. So
Al Jefferson and
Millsap are both gone. Yeah, so Jeremy's got a good chance to play himself into a bigger role on the team. So that's
chance he's been waiting for a
that's
little
right.
while. So.
Shane pointed out to him earlier. He's one of the better, more efficient players in the NBA the last few years. So. He does well with the minutes he gets. So I'm looking forward to see which direction he's going to go.
Yeah, and I know A.J. Slaughter got the DMP.
He got a DMP today.
Hey, Orlando Magic, play A.J. Slaughter,
for real.
all right?
Everybody wants to see what he can do.
It's Summer League. Play everybody. Everybody gets minutes.
And then he did play a little bit yesterday, but wasn't able to do a whole lot.
Didn't able to do a whole lot. So we got about 15 seconds left. We're winding down. So don't forget, guys, we're on every week at 6:30. And we'll be back next week.
See y'all next week.
Same TopperTalk time, same TopperTalk channel. 1, 2, 3, go Tops.
Go Tops.
Programming is brought to you in part by Wendy's.